Good day. How y'all doing? Today's the first day and the first time I'm actually really gonna try to bring forth some content for you on my YouTube page. Today is more of an explanation than a full-blown episode. Originally, what I wanted to call this was real simple. It's called Whoopings Saved My Life. It was going to be a podcast. It was going to be an idea that I spread it around and had a co-host with and such. But I don't have the materials currently that I wanted. And I'm just going to get on top of it right now. What I'm going to do is start a series called Whoopings Saved My Life. Today's first episode, I'm going to give you a couple key points and one caveat. Point one, me saying whooping saved my life is just about the fact that I was whooped as a child. I was spanked. I was disciplined. My parents cared enough to put forth the effort, and I feel like it saved me from a lot of pain, a lot of suffering, a lot of trouble I would have got into had I not been disciplined. But there is a difference between a spanking or a whooping and child abuse. If you're doing it out of anger, if you're doing it out of spite, if you're doing it out of impatience, that's child abuse. And child abuse is never acceptable. Also, too, when I say these things, it's not a whole thing about spankings and whoopings. It's not a whole idea wrapped around that. It's about more than that. It's about my thought processes, and it's about how any whooping or any loss, any L that you take makes you a better person in the long run if you learn from it. If you get a whooping from life, if you know the old adage, life gives you lemons, make lemonade, as long as you learn from the loss that you took, then it was worth it. And it's not one of those things where you can learn from everything, but you can learn from most things. If life takes someone away from you tragically, there's very few things that you can learn from that, and it's very hard to learn whilst in pain. So I'm not pushing that kind of agenda. And the caveat here is, I'm not perfect. My life's not perfect. I don't do things that everyone else does. But I'm 35 years old, and I have learned a lot in that time. And I feel like some people say I've lived more than one life because I've done a lot of different jobs. I've been a lot of different places, and I've been around a lot of different people. So I feel like I can share with you things. And it's also an entertainment thing too. I got onto this tip because I'm not built for vlogging. I like to be entertaining and comedic. I like to joke around. I like to enjoy life because we only have a certain amount of time anyway. So the caveat here is, I'm not perfect. I will share with you a lot, and I hope that whilst I share with y'all catch what I got to throw and enjoy it. That's just basically what this is about. And to base this off of other things that you could you can align it with, this isn't just like a podcast, and this isn't like a YouTube normal vlogging video. This is just me being me and me sharing things with y'all and me moving forward to try something new, my own little form of video therapy as well as comedy. Because if I can't laugh at things, I can't enjoy them the same way I can as if I laugh and share and indulge in these things. So first and foremost, this is your first installment of the series Whoopings Saved My Life. I'm D, aka Big Black Man. That's what they call me. That's what the kids call me. I'll give y'all a little demonstration of a story where I've learned something in life. Preface, I grew up in Virginia. I'm from the South. People trip like it ain't the South, but it is. And in my youth, my family was full. It's a lot of us, you know. It's a big family. My mom and dad had 2 kids, but their parents and their parents before them had multiple kids. So I got a lot of cousins, first, second cousins. I got a lot of everything, you know. And on my mother's side, it's one of she's one of 11, and her mother was one of 14. So we spent a lot of time around family and dealing with family. And as a child, one lesson that I learned was dealing with my dad's family. My dad is real in general. That's the only way I can explain Stan, is that he's real. My dad is a realist in life. He'll tell you that. He don't have romanticized ideas about life, and he keeps it 100. He's a pretty honest man. And as a child, when he would try to teach me lessons, he didn't just beat me and tell me no. He didn't just whoop me and tell me, hey, and this is how it is because I said so. So this story starts with the fact that my great-grandparents lived in Appomattox. You know, them being great-grandparents to me, they were always older. So as a child, coming from the city to the country, they would find ways for me to enjoy myself. And Lil Devin loved the woods. Lil D loved the woods. I was out here. Me, one of my papa's hunting dogs, and a stick, and maybe a pocket knife, and I was in the woods all day as a child. And so, on this particular day, they were trying to find something for me to do, but it was raining. Wasn't no going outside. So then I got a hold of some Play-Doh and some silly putty, and started building myself my own little army and little action figures and playing around. I noticed some little shiny metal things. I just thought they looked neat. They looked like robot feet to me. So I took them and I played with them. I used them with the Play-Doh and the silly putty, and everything was going well. My day progressed, and my great-grandparents, very nice to me, let me play, let me have fun, let me be a kid. Then I went home. Me not thinking, when I went home, I took those little metal objects with me, not knowing what they were or what they did or anything about them. I just took them thinking, hey, these look like fun. I'm gonna play with them. In the midst of this situation, I never thought once of what they were. I only thought that they looked neat and I wanted them. So I took them. They went home with me. Later on, my father noticed that I had something that didn't belong to me. And if there's one thing that my daddy don't like, it's a thief. There was never any idea that I'd grow up to be a bank robber or any kind of thief in general, because my daddy ain't play that. So when he caught me with them playing, he said, do you know what these are? No. He proceeded to take me upstairs and discipline me. Now this was one of them things where the belt came out. The belt's gonna come out. You're gonna get a whooping every now and then. Those things are gonna happen. After I got my whooping, my father sat me down and explained to me something very simple. Hey, those weren't yours. You had no idea what those were. You had no reason to touch them. In your grandparents' house, anything you wanted, you could have, because if you ask them, they give it to you. So, if you touch something without asking, It's not borrowing, it's stealing. And you do not steal. We don't do that. Then he explained to me, son, you didn't know what those were. They could have been something involving your grandparents' medicine. It could have been something for their health. It could have been something important, and they could have died from not having it. At the end, he tells me, you're lucky. They're just the feet to a sewing machine. They're parts to a sewing machine, Devin, and you shouldn't have touched them, and you shouldn't have took them. Now, I didn't know that they were parts of sewing machines. I didn't know that they could have been anything in the world. And true enough, my father was right. If there had been something that went to a machine that helped them with breathing, or a dialysis machine, or anything, it could have been parts to anything I wouldn't have known. And had they been something important like that, my grandparents would have been hurt, sickened, maybe even killed by me not paying attention and being selfish and greedy and taking something that wasn't mine. So the lesson in all this is, don't touch things that aren't yours. Don't steal. Now, I'm saying this because most people be like, oh, you got whooped for touching something that was part of a sewing machine. That's so petty. I'll tell you, to this day, my peoples, to this day, I do not touch stuff that's not mine. If it's yours and I want to use it, I'm gonna ask. If it's yours and I want to know what it is, I'm gonna ask. I don't just walk up to stuff and touch it. Therefore, what my father did at that point and at other points, whenever he caught me touching something that wasn't mine, I got the business. And now as an adult, I don't steal. I don't steal from people. I don't steal from corporations. I don't steal from cars. I don't steal from anything. Like, people do little petty theft things and think it's fine. I don't even steal from the government. I file my taxes like I'm supposed to. I do things as I should. And you know why? Because whooping saved my life. If it wasn't for my father, who took the time and effort to discipline me, I might have grown up to be like my friends who are now incarcerated, or like my friends who are now felons or associated with the more criminal element, due to the fact that they weren't taught right from wrong in such a strenuous manner. Because I'm going to tell you now, when I tell you about my daddy putting some discipline on me, I'd like for you to know that my father is over 6'2", over 300 plus pounds. And when I was a child, he was about 6'2" and a half, 200 plus, almost 300 pounds. So now it's different seeing my children and having to discipline them, because yeah, those whoopings work for me, but I tell you like this, I don't always whoop my kids. I don't always discipline my kids in such a manner. I've learned from my father, and now I can talk to my kids and explain to them what's going on and why. So this being the first installment of Whoopings Saved My Life, I just wanted to let y'all know how it would go, how I thought this process should be. Once again, this came from me being on TikTok and realizing that a lot of my stories have to be longer than a minute, a lot of them. And the stories dealing with disciplining your child and learning from experiences, you know, the stove's hot, you touch it, it burns you. Learning from things like that. If you don't share the things that you've learned in life with others so they can benefit, then when you're gone, no one has benefited from what you have learned. The legacy we should all set forth in life is a legacy of learning and growing. And part of me learning and growing is me being like, hey, I'm not the best teacher in the world, but I be talking smack and running my mouth and enjoying interacting with people. So any questions that you have or any interactions you want to do, throw them in the comments. And if you want to email me, supermandad1985@gmail.com. You can get out to me. I don't just want to be the only one on here talking. You can throw out some stories to me. I'll bring them out here to the people. We can do this as a group. We can do this as a community. Or I could just keep bringing stories. And next time I'll bring a little more levity with it. A little more ha-ha to the story. But currently I'm just trying to get the idea out there that this is my new platform. I'm going to start doing more with this YouTube. I'm going to get out here, and I want y'all to get involved with this show. Just remember, Whoopings saved my life. Your boy D, aka Big Black Man. I'm going to be on here. I'm going to put this out there to you. I hope you enjoy your day. I hope you spend the day with those you love, and I hope you learn something new. All right, now.